Let me show you how we can do the initial configuration on POCO C85. So once you turn on your phone, we want to tap on this arrow in order to proceed. And then of course we need to choose the language that we want to use on our phone. Once we choose it, we can go next. There we go. Then we can choose the region that we want to use. So we can also tap on this search at the top. We can just simply type whichever country or region you actually want to use on this phone. So let's say I'm going to choose United States in this case, and let's go next. After that, we have to agree to terms and conditions. So we need to scroll down over here and select that we have read and agreed to user agreement and privacy policy. And then we can tap on the next button. If you want to, you can transfer data from your previous device. You can choose Android device over here or iPhone or iPad, depending what you had. But in my case, I want to perform a clean setup, so I'm gonna use skip text over here in the bottom left side. Now, since I have two SIM cards, I can also choose which SIM should be used for calls by default and also SIM for the mobile data or cellular data. And let's go next. Now we can sign into, well, we can connect to our network. So you should be able to find different Wi-Fi networks, and hopefully you will find yours. So you can select it and then enter the password and connect. You can also skip this, but of course it is still recommended to use Wi-Fi. Now after that, we should have the Google sign-in page, so you can sign into your Google or Gmail account. You just have to enter your credentials over here. You can also create a new account if you want to, of course, and then you can also skip this if you don't want to sign in right now. In my case, I'm gonna do sign in. In this case, you also have to choose if you will be using this device or your child. So in my case, I'm gonna use this device. Over here, we need to agree to Google Terms of Service. And then let's wait for the next screen to show up. And then once again, we have the option to copy apps and the data from your previous phone. This is also a way to get the Google backup. So if you used Google backup on your previous phone, then over here you can go next, and then you should be able to find all your available backups. Let's see if I have one. No, unfortunately I don't. And if you want to, you can just skip this and choose not and do not copy over here. Now we have the screen lock setup. So if you want to, you can create a password by choosing only screen lock. You can also set up a fingerprint sensor and the face recognition feature. In my case, I don't want to do that right now. Of course, later on in settings, you can still add the screen lock password or set up the fingerprint and so on, or you can change stuff, of course. So in my case, I'm just gonna skip. Then we have Google services such as the location, which I'm actually going to disable. We also have the phone number verification. We can also send usage and diagnostic data. So if you want to, you can agree or disagree to these stuff. You can just tap on the switchers to the side. So just scroll through this list. You can also read the description of these features, and then you can decide. Once you're ready, we can press accept over here. Then we have the option to create Google backup. So if you want to back up photos and videos as well as other device data that is listed over here, then you can decide to check or uncheck these boxes. And then of course you can agree to create backups, or you can just press don't backup if you don't want to use them at all. Then we have the selection of the default browser and search engine. First we have the browser, so we have the list of different browsers that we can immediately get on our phone. If you don't know which one to choose, the most popular option is Google Chrome. You should be pretty happy with that. And then we can press set as default. And then for the default search engine, the most popular choice is of course Google, but feel free to choose anything that you want to use. And after that, as you can see, we can just leave the setup and then get a reminder about it to continue setting up later on if you don't want to be bothered with this right now. In my case, I'm gonna press continue to show you what is next. And in this case, we have the quick search, sorry, not quick search, the quick share, which we can agree to, of course. So I'm gonna do that. Then we have the information about Gemini, so we can press continue. We can set up the Hey Google voice recognition. In my case, I don't use it, so I'm gonna tap no thanks. And then we have the Google Pay, so you can, of course, set up your credit card or debit card. However, in some cases, in some countries, NFC might not be available, so you have to keep that in mind. So you will not be able to use Google Pay anyway. So in this case, I don't want to do that right now. We can still go to Google Wallet, for example, right later on in the app drawer in order to set up our payment card and pay with our POCO C85. Then we have some additional settings that we can go through, of course, but it is not really necessary. You can find all of this in settings of the phone. So I'm just gonna tap on no thanks. And then we need to, once again, wait a little bit longer. Now we have some additional settings such as the location. Once again, we have system updates, usage and diagnostic data, personalized ads. This doesn't disable ads at all. It just disables personalization of ads and some other stuff as well. I'm gonna actually enable Xiaomi interconnectivity in here. And let's just go next. So you can, of course, go through this list and decide by yourself, just like before. We have parental controls, which we can turn on if needed. In my case, I don't need it, so I'm just gonna proceed. We have font settings in here. I'm gonna actually stick with the default font in here. Then we can choose the launcher, so you can have the home screen only, or you can use the home screen and the app drawer. Let's go next. Navigation mode, so you can choose between the gestures and buttons. I'm gonna choose buttons in my case, and let's go next. And soon after that, we should be able to go to the home screen. It should be done. The phone should be ready to use. So let's just wait for that. There we go. The setup is complete. So we can just press continue over here. And we should be able to go to the home screen. All right. And that's pretty much it. The first configuration is done. Let's just wait for the home screen to appear actually. There we go. We can of course go to the app drawer if it was enabled. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe to my channel.